It's a pleasure to have you onto the link this week, where as the year winds down, the year has been having a lot of trouble. 2022 is speaking of opening the economy. And many of you have lost jobs. Businesses have gone down. But you might start with yourself. Tonight we're discussing personal branding. Who are you as a brand? And my guest tonight is Mr. Francis Kasula from Fireworks Advertising, and he's passionate about issues of branding. And he's been here recently, and we promised to bring him back. I'm keeping my word. Francis, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Let's start with
to be back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
To share knowledge.
I know.
We greatly appreciate.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So when we say personal branding,
yes, sir,
what are we really talking about?
You know, I thought of how to answer this question because, you know, it's a concept that was only restricted to musicians, artists, actors, painters. You know, back in the day, those are the only people who would talk about personal branding.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, personal branding is that intentional image that you create for the public about an individual.
Okay.
Or about yourself.
Okay.
So when you think, you know, there's a famous quote from Jeff Bezos, and he said, your brand is what people think you are when you're not in the room.
Okay. That's interesting.
So you think of, in the Ugandan context, you think of the comedians. You think of the Ankansimes. You think of the tourist people, the Amos Wekesas. You know what they bring to the table. Even before you see them, you can envision, okay, this is how they dress, this is how they walk, this is how they talk, because of that personal brand about them.
Okay.
Yes.
And viewers, tonight we are speaking about you. They're the celebs, maybe, the people you know. Some people call me a celeb, I don't think I am. But you were talking about your brand and how it can work for you. Francis.
Yes, please.
Why should personal branding be a big deal?
I'll start by answering this question by introducing another one. You know, what are the types of personal brands?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
And I'll just touch on the surface of some of the characteristics and some of the personal brands that someone can take up. But the list is endless.
Absolutely.
So there's a brand, a special type of people who are called the altruists. And these ones are basically focused on helping others.
Okay.
They are brands around helping others. We have some local examples here in Uganda. For them, they're humanitarian. They're always giving. In the international context, you can see maybe the Angelina Jolies. They're always there for giving. Then you have the careerists.
Yeah.
Those are who are focused on achievements. You know, Samuel Setumba, PCM, DDD, all those other names. That
PhD, what?
PhD, and everywhere you show yourself, I mean, those things are attached to your name. Then you have those who are with connections. They're always connecting people. For them, their brand is, I'm seated in the middle here, Sam is there, Francis is here. They are connectors. And then there are those who are boomerangs. These ones are wild ones, always controversial. We have those also in the market. I'll not give some examples, but you know them, they're always controversial. So your question was about, you know, why is it a big deal to create a personal brand? Number one, it helps to brand yourself. It helps you to be known as the expert in that field that you want to position yourself.
Positioning.
Exactly. So if I want to be a comedian, if I want to be an actor, if I want to be an expert in maybe music, I need, this personal brand helps me position myself, and people will know that, hey, Francis is the expert in this field.
Top of mind.
Top of mind, yes. Then, of course, secondly, it helps bring in new business. You know, I want when someone doesn't know about you, they think, okay, we have a show, but we need dancers. Who do I think about when that thing crosses my mind? And that new business, you'll be able to get new business because people will never have met you, but they will know that this person positions themselves in this way, therefore attracting business. But it also helps customers to know what to expect. You know, when someone knows what to expect, it's easier for them to do business with you. So if I know that Sam, this is his brand. You know, Sam doesn't sit next to this. Sam doesn't do this, like that. It
doesn't cut corners.
Exactly. It helps position and know how people will do business with you. So those are some of the advantages of why it's important to have, and it's a big deal to have a personal brand.
How do I harness this created brand?
Yes.
Okay, Samuel Setumba, by the way, is yes, a journalist of business,
Okay.
but he's also a professional counselor.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm now being
I've
branded.
heard something about that. Yes, 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 yes.
How best can I harness this created image?
Now, and I know this is going to lead us into a much deeper discussion. You know, your personal character
Yeah,
must align with this brand that you're creating.
that's very important, I think.
And it's a very sad thing to see a mismatch. You know, if you're a counselor and you speak to people and you have maybe this introverted nature of a character, and then you're trying to become, you have an extroverted personal brand, there'll be a challenge.
People will notice.
You have to align with those values that come from within. Those things that you wake up every morning and they feel natural to you. Those are the things that will help you build a strong personal brand.
Okay.
The foundations of the brand must be on things that you're that you're passionate about. Things that are you as Sam.
Original.
So if we build the trait between who you are and what you're doing now, and what you like doing, there's a line. There's no, you can draw that dotted line.
Connection.
There's a connection to all of these things. But sometimes people try to create brands that are very far off. You're a boomerang. You're very unserious and controversial. And all of a sudden, now you want to appear as the most serious and
People
something
say,
person. But these different characters all can be made into make business sense of them.
Okay.
If you're a controversial person, we've seen people have become even influencers just out of that controversy. People always want to see what their opinion is. So big companies will sign them on board just for them to say the controversial thing about topics, and even here in the local context, we see on Twitter all the time, some people are making noise, controversial, and they're just doing it for the sake. So all of these different characteristics, you can find a way of harnessing. If you're a connector, you can find a way of bridging these gaps and making money out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I press it down? I'm dealing with people. Let me say, I'm a professional counselor.
Yes, sir.
It comes with my personality a little bit and all that.
Yes.
How do I, and I know people are aware of it.
Yes.
I've created it.
Yes.
How do I make it count? Because it could just be there. Yeah, I want to know what buttons can I press to make it count so that they remember me, they say, we want to deal with him.
Of course, you have to, and this goes back to the first question you asked me. It is the intentional creation of a brand.
Absolutely.
A personal brand is sort of like the brand that you'd create for a business or a company. You have to seek and create it intentionally. So the way you walk, the way you dress, the way you talk, the things you say, all of these things should be aligned with that intentional image that you have created. So it lives, when I interact with you, it will stay in my subconscious who exactly you are. Yes.
Okay. You touched it a little bit here. Striking a balance between, where do I not cross the line between the brand and me?
Yes.
Where do I not cross the line? Because there must be some degree of maybe academics.
Yes.
External factors,
yes.
And then the internal factors.
Yes.
How do I balance those two lines? Because image is partly artificial, like I'm on TV, I've learned to,
yes,
host people.
Yes.
I've been taught how to interview, but then there's also my personal values. How do I balance the thing so that I am authentic?
As I said initially, they must align. Your purpose, your values, who you are as an individual must align with this brand that you're creating. Do not create a brand that is far off who you are. And that's the advice I always give to people who are creating personal brands. If you've sought out, if you're a controversial human being and your opinions are always left, go with the flow. Go in that line. If you're a counselor, you're a quiet, introverted person, go with that line, because that line, on that foundation, you can build a strong brand. But if you don't align your purpose and values with the brand you're creating, there will be a very serious mismatch. So it is important that, I'll go back to that, and I think I spoke that the last time I was here, foundations. Your foundations have to be strong. And these foundations for a personal brand are who you are and the values that you stand for.
Okay.
Yes.
How do I get people to notice me without being ridiculous?
It depends on what you want to be noticed for.
No, I have identified.
Yes.
Like I'm a counselor, but we're not allowed to advertise, by the way.
Yes.
I keep on coming back to that.
That's
as an example.
Yes.
How do I make people notice me? that is actual, making the brand actionable. How do I, what can I do? And I know that's a lingering question out there.
I think we have to now look at what the indicators of a personal brand are. What are these indicators?
Yeah.
What are people looking out for? And I touched on them. They're looking out for the way you talk,
I need to find out.
the way you say, the way you communicate,
Yeah.
using your different channels and platforms, the way you dress. All of these things are going to shape the perception. A brand is a perception thing.
Absolutely.
You might put yourself out there so much, but at the end of the day, the perception that you leave behind
Yeah,
with me is what shapes everything. So again, a brand is what people think about you when you're not in the room. So you might not be able to shape and shape that personal brand that you want to build on your own. It is going to be small things that you plant in the different places, in the different touch points.
Yeah.
So through your interactions on social media, in person.
Very important.
From the way you dress, from the way you talk,
Yeah.
from the way you walk.
Who are your friends?
Who are your friends? Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of these things are going to shape what your personal brand is. And these are the outside indicators. And so it's unlike the other one of a business brand. This one is inward pouring outwards.
Yeah.
There are things you have to align on yourself, and then you plant them into the market, and then you hope that the world will understand your signals. Because it's about small signals that you plant out there.
Okay.
Yes.
We can't touch, and Francis wonders, it's a scratching on the surface.
Yes.
This question of personal branding, but earlier on before we came to the studio, we were talking about people who don't like tucking in, people who dress shabbily. Shabbiness, for some people, can work for them depending on where you are going.
Yes, the type of brand
Yes.
that you are, yes.
There are people who like to also, when you dress smartly like me now, you may take it overboard and it pushes people away.
Yes,
So you must dress smartly, but also be a nice person. Just said he's smart, but he's also approachable.
Yes.
And I'm just giving you what I've understood from what Francis told us on personal branding.
Yes.
So if you have a business, you can't be a brand yourself within your own business to attract customers. And that one will bring him back to talk about that. How
Yes.
can I harness my brand as a person for my business? We'll come back because time is not enough. We hope that we added value to you. This is what we do on The Link. We add value to you, and this is the place for opportunities. That was The Link. Thank you for joining us tonight.